going on, man?
How you doing?
Hey, did you catch that last part I was just talking about right there?
No, I didn't know what y'all was talking about.
All right, cool. So, yeah, very natural, very organic, man. We get into, of course, the influence and your, experience winning the award and all those things and what happened. We all went through it. I won the award back in '97 myself, so been a part of Ed Block ever since then, and engaged, thoroughly within that, and of course, transition to what you're doing right now in your media career and how you parlay that, and also playing with your brother. Okay, and winning
Okay.
that out there and going through that moment because I'm sure that's not too many guys get an opportunity like that, man. So
Yeah. Figure I'll move the
talk
Ed
about
Block
that.
Courage joint in the shot.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Hmm.
there it is. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Uh, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here back again with the Ed Block podcast. We're here having a great time. And look, we have a lot of guests come in, and we are blessed to have the opportunity to talk to Jason McCourty right here, all-time great NFL player with the Tennessee Titans and New England Patriots. If I missed a team, man, correct me. I'm an old guy, so if I missed, I think I got both of those teams correctly right there that you played for. And
Yeah.
Rutgers guy, how about that? New Jersey guy, Jersey guy. So, man, welcome to the show. Thank you for spending time with us this afternoon out of your busy schedule. And I just want to jump right into it, man. Look, we all, I won this award in 1997, and I've been a part of Ed Block ever since. So talk about your experience, what happened to get you to Baltimore and winning the award, and then really, after which you won the award and just dealing with the mental aspect of dealing with injuries.
Yeah. For me, coming into the league in 2009, I remember going into the Tennessee Titans training room, and above the trainer's office, you just saw a bunch of pictures of different players throughout the years for the Tennessee Titans. And above it, it said Ed Block Courage Award. And I always, when I first got there, I was like, well, what is that? And you start to learn that those were guys that overcame injuries to get back on the football field to then, lead to leadership and different things with their team. So for me, it was really cool looking at it, just seeing it all and thinking like, wow, like that's so good of these guys. But then on the same time of figuring out, obviously you don't want to be on that wall because you don't want to deal with injuries. You'd like to just have a seamless and a perfect career and end up playing for however many years and never being in the training room period. But injuries are a part of this game. So for me in 2015, I ended up having a groin surgery, two of them. And then that next year coming back, and it was a process because I ended up getting hurt in training camp and tried to play through it, muscle through it, and do some things other than surgery and didn't work. Did that for about 2 weeks and go to a doctor in St. Louis, have surgery, come back, do the necessary rehab, and then completely end up tearing my adductor tendon off the bone and then having to go have surgery again right around Thanksgiving. So just that process, I hadn't really missed many games at that point in my career and going through all of that. And then to be able to come back on the football field that next year, we had a brand new general manager, new head coach. So that process of even mentally not knowing if you were still going to be a part of the organization, if they were going to decide to move on. So there were some tremendous trainers the entire time I was in Tennessee. So a lot of credit goes to them to helping me get back on the field. But to your point, a lot of mental fortitude to be able to stick through it and get back out there.
Now, just comparing stories, man. I mean, just the old guy talking a little bit, going back and forth. In 1997, I tore my Achilles, and I thought
Mhm.
that was a career-ending injury, and there was some skepticism in coming back. So, did that ever cross your mind at some point during your process of getting back on the field and getting back 100%? Did it ever cross your mind that I could not make it back? I just don't know how this is going to play out.
Not really. My biggest concern was I knew I was be able to get back on the football field. The fear is the type of player you're going to be when you get back on the field. And for me, as a cornerback, you're covering some of the best athletes on the football field every single Sunday. So you know at what level you have to be out there competing. So that was my biggest fear of all right, I'm going to be able to make it back, but can I still go out there and play bump and run coverage and run with these guys like I used to when I was a little bit younger? So I think that was the biggest thing. And then contract wise, of trying to figure out what it was going to be. I remember that same year, there were rumors that New England was trying to trade for me, and my brother was in New England at the time. And we're thinking how cool this would be. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I'm damaged goods right now. If they trade for me, I may not stick around. So those are the things that went through my mind at that time.
And talk about that. First, there were rumors, the possibility you being traded, and then it's reality. You in New England playing with your brother, now having an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. So talk about that experience and just, talk about the emotional ups and downs of the game. Having an opportunity to just make that complete and do it with your brother.
Yeah, we always say, especially when you first get in, that man, this is a business. I know it's a game, we love it, but there's a business behind it. And that same year, all those trade rumors are going on. And during that time, like nobody from the Titans was talking to me about it. So I didn't know what was going on. And my brother was talking to the corners coach in New England at the time, Josh Boyer. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to see if we can make something happen. And I remember the trade deadline came and went. I don't get traded. And our general manager in Tennessee came up to me and was just like, man, all those rumors were all nonsense. And I'm sitting
Mm.
there to myself, I'm like, well, nonsense now that the trade deadline done passed.
Right.
But who
Right.
knows,
What's up with that?
Yep,
Right.
who knows during that process. And that's the part of the game that you can't control. So you can't get enamored with it. You got to just go about your business. And ended up playing out that entire year in Tennessee. Then that next year, getting released, having to sign with the Cleveland Browns in free agency. When I got cut from the Titans, I got cut 10 days before the draft. So you talk about a lonely feeling of, I think when I got cut that weekend, 10 teams call and all 10 of them were like, we like you, but we got to wait and see how the draft goes. We already have our board set. So it wasn't until about the end of May that I ended up signing in Cleveland on a 2-year deal. And we go that year, we don't win a single game. So you go from being in Tennessee to now you're 0-16 in your ninth year. Now you're really wondering, like, well, when I first got to Cleveland, you start to debate retirement just because it's something new for the first time in your career. And then after the fact of just now, I'm like, well, there's no hell no, I'm not retiring and going out on not winning a single game. End up getting traded to New England. And in that first year, there was a mental aspect to that too. I ended up getting hurt in OTAs in the spring and didn't do much. Injured my hip and then come back in training camp. And I remember I'm playing in the fourth preseason game, and I'm like, well, it was fun to play with my brother for a preseason, but this is probably going to be it. And you never know how this thing's going to turn out. It's a roller coaster of emotions, of play, of a lot. And I ended up starting a good amount of games that year, played every single play in the Super Bowl, and was able to win my first one. My brother won his third that year, but we got a chance to do it together, friends and family, all in the stadium in Atlanta. And that was just a hell of a journey to go through it that year, because you think of it as this smooth sailing ride of that was my 10th year in the league. And throughout those first 9 years, I've been 0-16, 2-14, 3-13. I've never made the playoffs. And in that first year there, we get there, we go on a run and we're able to win it. But even within that year, there were so many obstacles to get over just to get to that moment.
Now, this is just a personal thing, all right? And I'm just messing with you a little bit here, but hey, you and your brother have been doing this from day one, okay? Right next to each other, side by side, accomplishing all kinds of things. Let me just ask one personal question, man. Does it get annoying looking at yourself all day?
You know what?
Man, go.
The crazy thing for us, we did high school and then obviously we went to college together. But it was really cool to see the first 9 years of my career, 8 years of his, we were totally separate. So obviously we talk all the time, but both of us have become captains and did a lot of things in our career. So when we came together, man, we was fired up. We lived like 3 minutes from each other. We're married at that time. Our kids are hanging out really for the first times in their lives where they're able to be around each other that much. Mom's is 3 hours away, so she's driving down for holidays and stuff. So that experience, man, usually we get sick and tired of each other, but those 3 years we got a chance to spend. People, we were hip and hip throughout the facility, doing everything together.
See, that's what's up right there. See, that's it. Because I got a brother. All right, I got cut. Man, look at it, man. Go somewhere, man. Look, I'm tired.
It
Move on, okay?
happens.
You know what I'm saying?
It
So,
happens.
and really, I mean, you guys are still, competing, doing things together, all those things like that. Talk about moving transitioning, because we all go through transition. Okay, I'm out here doing radio, television, and we're doing it for a long time. But talk about your personal transition and how you guys move, not just within the media space on television, but you guys got your likeness deals, and we're doing commercials and made all kinds of rounds. Just talk about that transition and trying to keep the balance between the media, okay, sports, which is the main thing, that's the platform that's getting you here, and now moving on in retirement and making it a full-time gig.
Yeah, man, it's been a blessing. To your point, within that transition, I think for every player, there's always a sense of identity of where it lies, a sense of what am I going to do next, the fear of idle time. And for me, I was fortunate enough that when I retired, I stepped right into a job. And obviously, with the Ed Block Courage Award, it surrounds itself around injuries. My last year playing, I had a Liz Frank in my foot. And to your question earlier, I knew when I limped off the field that day in Miami, I knew that was it for me. There was no shot I was going to be able to make it back from that injury, and went and did the broadcast boot camp in California through the NFL, and came out of that boot camp and had job opportunities. So I walked off the field and walked into the studio with Good Morning Football in New York City and did that for two years. And that was a grind. I think for me, I knew the media. I think sometimes when you're playing, you assume, oh, I'll retire, I'll just do some TV stuff. But going through that boot camp and talking to people, I had already had in my mind that if I was going to do this, I was going to have to approach it with the same level of intent and passion that I did football. But once I got in and I was doing Good Morning Football, you're talking about 4:30 wake up Monday through Friday. I was doing some games for Westwood One on the radio, so a little bit of travel for Thursday night football. Like I was grinding, and then the off season there was none. The show continued, so did that for 2 years and had a blast. Got a chance to work with some amazing people, which was really cool. And then the second year of doing that, I started calling games on TV for CBS and some for NFL Network. So this season, I'm doing a full slate, 18 games with CBS, and then picked up 2 days a week on ESPN doing some studio stuff. So I think for Devin and myself, we're always competing. I mean, he's on NBC, he's doing games for radio. We're always talking trash about whose suit looks worse or who's trash on TV. He took a dig on me on Sunday Night Football this past week because I called him out because he's on the show, and Maria Taylor and Chris Sims and Jason Garrett, and everybody's towering over him. He's the smallest guy on the show. Told him to get a box, and then he attacked me, talking about I got fired from NFL Network. So we go back and forth. We try to have fun with it, and got a chance. Football's been such a blessing in my life where I've been able to take it where I live now, the opportunities my kids have. So to continue to be in the football world, it continues to impact us not only with our jobs but also our work in the community. Where we do sickle cell disease is something that we're passionate about. We have a tackle sickle cell campaign we've been doing since we were playing. So it allows us to continue that fight. It keeps us in the forefront of people's mind, and you get a chance to use that exposure and that platform to continue to build up people in the community.
Hey, now season's going now. All right, so I'm gonna end you with this, and as we go into our football moniker, and we go, we're prognosticators of success and torture as this season goes. So right now, with what this first week of the season gone, surprises, anything that's caught your eye a little bit so
far? New England picked up a win in Cincinnati on the road. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and those guys. I didn't expect that. New England was a team we're looking at that they were going to kind of be rebounding, and I didn't expect that. And the Bengals, they have Super Bowl aspirations. This could be the last year with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So that was a huge surprise to see that game unfold the way it did with those two teams. I would say Dallas and Cleveland was a bit of a surprise of how lopsided that win was. Deshaun Watson struggled mightily. So there's always a surprise, especially in week one. I kind of learned since retirement, you start paying attention to the whole league. Week one, when I was on Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt used to say it all the time, week one is a liar. We get so hyped over the teams that win, and we anoint them and say their Super Bowl aspirations are going to be there, and the teams that lose, we write them off right away. So you still got to kind of wait and see, but football's back, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Hey, Jason, we love to have you on, man. I appreciate you taking time to hang out with us in your busy schedule. Hey, gotta invite you now. You gotta come back to Baltimore, man, and hang out with us, okay?
Yeah, we got to get that. We got to get that in the
Have
works.
a good time in Baltimore. So come back and hang out with us at our Ed Block Award ceremony, which will be in March this year. Moved up a little bit early, be in March this year. Again, Jason McCourty, appreciate you, man, and thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.